It's not an evolution, it's a revolution in supremacy. Honda calls it rush of supremacy. You know what? Let's find out. The new City is now bigger and longer than the previous generations. It's right now the widest and the longest in the segment, and it's a tad bit shorter than the previous generation, and that's exactly what makes it look more sportier than the old one. Moving on to the front, you got this new front fascia, wherein you get these brand new headlamps that house 9 LEDs, a LED DRL and a LED side light. Now the good part is the LED DRL is available in all the variants across the range. For you, I've decked this City up with some of the accessories that I love. I've got the front bumper garnish, the side bumper garnish, and I guess that's more than enough chrome on the face. On the front is the hood. They've put this muscle onto the hood like the Honda Civic and made it a little lower and aggressive. Moving on to the sides, Honda has got inspired by their own katana blade, and they've used the same swoosh in the design. If you see here, the swoosh goes up from the front to the back and makes the car look a little lower and sleeker. Something which they've copied from the BMW, it's the tail lamp. Looks like the 3 Series, the new one. One thing which I really like about the City is the back. They made it more minimalistic, and you know what I like is the build quality. I'll tell you how. The sound over here has dampened. It feels like they've used more and denser metal out here for the car, made it stronger. And trust me, to what the old one was, this one is surely stronger and feels safer than the previous one. Some changes that I really appreciate on the new City, especially on the sides, are first is the rear view mirror. They moved this on the door and made it smaller. Improved visibility for the driver when he's driving or sitting inside. Second is the whole roof line. They made it shorter and more sleeker, which makes it look a lot more sportier. Third is this tail lamp that comes into the whole side profile of the car, makes it look real good. And finally, you get these 16-inch alloys. I don't want to complain about the size or the looks of the alloys. For me, they look great. But what I have a problem with is the width of the tire that they provide. The new City from factory sits on 185s. The new City is a relief. Thank God Honda got rid of those asymmetrical, hideous looking interiors of the old City. And these interiors are more classy, especially with this soft touch materials here with real stitching. The whole car packs a lot of technology. First, you get this digital driver's display, which is a little analog. Now you get 2 circles out here, one which shows the RPM gauge and the second which shows the speedometer. The one that shows the speedometer is analog, while the whole display and furthermore settings which you could do is within the RPM gauge. So here, if you had to click the home button on the steering, you could change it to a tachometer, you could figure out your range and fuel, speed and time, G meter. What I really don't like about the whole display is the font. I wish Honda could have made it a little more cooler or better. The Honda now gives you an 8-inch display which has Android Auto, Apple CarPlay and other media services. The whole interface is very easy to use, the resolution is great, but what I miss is some physical controls which could make it easy for the driver to use this while driving. If you come down, you have the climate control and it's a brand new cluster. They've got rid of the touch controls from the previous City. They've introduced these tactile switches which feel great. Down here you have a 12-volt power outlet and 2 charging ports or 2 USB ports. The whole feel and the build quality of the car is better than the previous City. Well, if you had to ask me about storage, City could have done a better job in terms of storage. You have enough storage out here where you could keep a phone, but your phone wouldn't be held there for long because when you keep moving, your phone might fall out. You have two cup holders, you have a key holder. I'll call this a key holder because there is space enough space to keep the key. You've got these two slots where I think you could keep your phone, which is a good touch, and you have enough storage in the armrest. You can get comfortable enough with the telescopic and tilt adjustments of the steering. You also get height adjustable seats, but you have to do it manually, which I think is a miss because you get ventilated seats in the Verna. In terms of comfort, Honda says they've increased the seat cushioning by 3 times. Once you're comfortable enough, you've got the sunroof, which again, there has been no changes done to the controls. Yes, panoramic sunroof is the trend, but considering the cost which the city sits at, I don't think they could have put a panoramic sunroof here, but this works pretty well. Let's move on to the back and see how the city is at the back. The back seat of the city has never been a problem. I mean, there was no problem earlier with the leg room nor the headroom. Right now, in the new one, you get even more, which is very good. But what I think is the new city, there's a little less under thigh support here compared to the previous one. I think it's because of the lower height, and in terms of comfort, I really wouldn't want to complain about anything. You have your armrest, you get two cup holders out here, you have those AC vents, you've got 2 power outlets, and another creative thing or first in segment are these seat pockets. And if you had to sit in between, it's a little uncomfortable, but what they have given is a middle headrest. Before we go for a drive, let me show you a few things that I really don't like about the city. Number 1 are those charging ports out there. I wish they could give USBs. Number 2 is the headrest. They are not adjustable. Number 3, it misses out on wireless charging. Number 4 is poor camera quality. The city is not just about bad bits. There are good bits about the car too. Number 1 is one-touch power windows available on all 4 doors. The party trick. You could open the windows and the sunroof from your key fob. The seatbelt setting in the middle. The Max Cool feature. Finally, the lane watch assist. Once you're inside the city, you immediately feel the difference. You understand that it's a brand new engine. The engine is more refined, it's quieter, and honestly, it's so refined. Let me just do this for you. If I had to put in sports, rev it and keep it just at 4000 RPM like this, or even 5000 and more, I still don't get any kind of vibrations inside the engine. This engine is 2 PS more powerful than the previous one. That's good. The torque is the same, but what's different is the torque band. But I don't think it should make a difference if you're driving a CVT. CVT is all about cruising. It's all about doing those comfortable drives again and again. If you had to put your foot down, CVT kicks in and it tries its best. But if you're buying a CVT gearbox in this car, I don't think your goal is to do those enthusiastic drives. But if you want to, then I'd say go for the manual, because it can do this. Brand new 6-speed manual transmission. This can do 100 in second gear and can do that in under 10 seconds. That's fast. Another commendable thing that the city can do is the refinement. I can keep this car revved as far as 6500 RPM and you will not feel any vibrations. That's the cutoff, but yeah. And if you ever decide to cruise in the manual, then that is also not a problem, because you can probably jump it in any gear. Let's say I have this car in 4th, I'll put it in 5th actually. And if I really had to overtake, all I had to do is press the accelerator. The car just picks up. Now the question remains, is it value for money? And I'd say yes. Honda has done a very good job in terms of dividing the features among all the variants. The base variants, that's the V, would give you enough features for the worth. And as you go up, you have those many features added to make it worth for the money. So I'd say this is the best car in the segment you can get, and also I'd directly recommend just go ahead and buy it. That's how good it is. Let's
recording चालू होतं तुका पॅडल शिफ्ट करून जायला देत होता